Well, y'all caught me. I need to clean my glasses. And I may have been sitting here for the better part of about 5 minutes, tinkering with the screen, getting things set up, holding a lens wipe in my left hand with my glasses sitting on the table in front of me. So that's a real thing. That really happened. Hello, friends. Happy Friday. I am so excited to sew with you tonight, but before any of that happens, I am really excited to have some streak and spot free glasses. A few years ago, well, several years ago, I've always had to wear like reading glasses or glasses for distance. And I don't know why this happened to me, but it does seem to be a thing for some people. A few years ago, several years ago, when I had my daughter, I stopped wearing my glasses. Most of the time, I just needed them for the computer. And I kind of stopped wearing them because my baby kept grabbing my glasses and I would get smudges on them all the time. And I don't know if it was just changes in my body from having a baby or using my eyes and forcing them to focus or a combination of both. But my prescription got better to the point where I didn't really need the glasses. Like I just barely qualified for insurance to cover the frames. Sadly, over the past few years, they've started getting worse again. I still only really need them for distance, but I do have progressive lenses, and sometimes I require that because my prescription for distance and up close is drastically different. But sometimes I require them for up close stuff. So, yeah. Anyway, all that to say, it's Friday night. So tonight I'm going to be working on my layer cake pop quilt. This is a quilt pattern that I started about 2 weeks ago with my mom in this live stream. She has made a good bit of progress on hers. I have made some progress on mine, and I really want to just continue the journey of making this quilt. So that's what I'm going to work on tonight. And if you want this free pattern from Fat Quarter Shop, exclamation, yeah, words, exclamation pattern in the live chat will get you the link to this pattern, and then on the replay I will put it in the description box down below if you want to just hop down there and download it. Really quick and easy pattern. Definitely feel like it is beginner friendly. In fact, I'm teaching my mom to sew using this quilt pattern. So yeah, you can do it if you are interested. Oh, Ian said, I meant to work with you when I was there on your sound. Dang, we should test it out sometime. Why? Does it sound bad? You want to, because now I need to know. Please tell me if it sounds bad, because it might just be the filters. Let's see. We'll turn this off and see if that helps. Tell me if this sounds a little bit better now. Just let me know. And I won't change anything else. Waiting to see what you guys say. That's the only bad thing about question and answer period. When I lob a question out and wait for the answer, I got to wait a solid 30 to 45 seconds before that answer comes back. So Candy says, I'm fine. Sounds good. Sounds good. Sounds fine to me. Okay. Sound is fine. Okay. Sound is fine. Sound is fine. Sound is fine, I guess. Okay. Sounds the same. Sounds good to me. All right. Well, we're just going to get started. I do have a fan blowing in the room. I'm going to go turn that off because I don't need it, and it's going to end up making me cold. And we don't need that blowing into the microphone over the course of the evening. Really low volume. Oh, well, that might also be the setting that I had set here. So I also have, there we go. Is that better? Because I'm showing that it should be a whole lot better. I had the microphone up on my shoulder, and I should actually have it down in front of me like this. So hopefully the volume is a little bit better. I've also started talking a little bit softer, so I'm not projecting my voice as much. I'm going to let the technology amplify my voice. All right, let's get into it, shall we? I'm going to go to the overhead. We're going to keep, Heather says, how cute is your sewing room sign? Thank you. It's beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to go to the overhead camera, just like boom, that. And you'll notice we did this a couple weeks ago. We were talking about like changing the angle. I just got to move this out of the way. Changing the angle of the overhead camera so that when I'm looking at something, we just need to change this really quick because this is going to bother me. 1 second. Bring this over. Bring that this way because I don't like sewing with the drag that the mat creates. So what happens now is when I'm looking at it and it's right side for me, it is also right side for you, but I also bought some extra equipment to extend my boom on my overhead so we don't have that tilt. We have a legit like nice overhead shot. What do you guys think of that? Like, yeah. All right. So let me show you what I'm going to be making. Oopsies. I hit the escape key on my keyboard. Also, I'm going to need an ironing pad, so I'll get that out and ready to go. And I might need some rulers. I'm not set up for sewing at all, as you can see. Heather says, you were all of a sudden shouting at me. Loads better. I've had to turn you down. Awesome. I mean, I'm sad that you had to turn me down, but I'm glad the volume sounds better. You shouldn't have to turn me all the way up to max setting to hear what I'm saying. Hey, Katie. All right, so this is the pattern that I am working on. As you can see here, this is, there, this way, that way. This is the pattern that I am working on. Is the Layer Cake Pop Quilt pattern by Fat Quarter Shop. And the neat thing about this pattern, I think, is the secondary stars that kind of come out in all of this. And I know this might be a little bit hard to see down here, so I'll just hold it up to the camera a bit for you. You can see better there. I like those secondary stars that kind of come out in here, and then you kind of get these little squares of color all over. I just think that's a lot of fun. I think it's the design, but I also do think it's a little bit of the fabric. And the way this goes together, as you can see from the pattern here, you're building out a little square with a white border around it, and then you're putting these half square triangle units on an outer row. And then when you put the blocks together, as you can see on the second page, that's when you start to get that secondary design. And I think that's just bloody brilliant, to borrow a phrase from across the pond. Guess what? I need the fan. I need air moving, you guys. It's bad. Okay. We're just not going to worry about it. So let's get started. Let me show you what I've worked on, what I've gotten done over the course of the past couple weeks. Hello, Yolanda. These are all the blocks that I finished over the past 2 weeks. I'm using the Sugar Pie line by Lolo Boutique. Hold on a second. One minute. My daughter's standing here and she's staring at me. I got to see what she needs. So I'll just let you look at this while I mute my microphone. Hey guys, just one more minute. She's trying to get something installed in her iPad, so it's okay. It's okay, I got it. There you go. There's that. And now I gotta see where the alert. Go tell your father to accept it. Huh? It went through? Yeah. Okay, good. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so what I was saying is this is the Sugar Pie line by Lolo Boutique. This is an out of print line. You can't get it anymore. And I had this layer cake. I bought it years ago. And my sister, Alicia, was absolutely in love with it. And this is before I even knew who a Lolo Boutique was, right? So I bought the layer cake with the intention of making a quilt for her. And then my mom saw it and fell in love with it. And she wanted to make something with it. And she took it and did nothing. She opened the plastic on it and never did anything with a single piece of the fabric. So when we moved into this house and they started setting up their basement apartment, she brought a couple totes of all of the sewing stuff that she had just been holding on to but not doing anything with, and this layer cake was in them. So I took it back. So I was like, well, Mom, you're not really sewing, so I'll take this one. But in exchange for that, when we decided we were going to make this quilt pattern together, she took a batik layer cake that I have been keeping under thumbs. So I took this from her, she took one for me, and we're both making the same quilt. So those are the blocks that I have finished and ready to go. And as you can see, I'll demonstrate here where you can see it a little bit better. When we start putting these together, I'll lay out 4 of these, right? When we start putting these together, that's when you're going to start to see this secondary pattern sort of play out. Do you see how this comes together right here? And it's so fun because each quadrant of the star legs has a different look to it. This one is tied with this block up here. This is tied here. But I feel like once this quilt is put together, my eye doesn't see this anymore. It now sees the secondary pattern that we're going to be creating. So I have got all of the, well, I cut up enough of the layer cake squares that the pattern called for, but I think I might go big on this. And I think I might use all of the layer cake on this project and just make it a super huge quilt. In case you're curious, somebody's going to ask, this quilt will measure 48.5 inches by 60.5 inches if you make this as the pattern calls for it. But I think I'm going to end up making it bigger. So tonight what I'm going to do is just start working on some of my blocks. So I've got this first one up. I have some background fabric already cut. ready to go and some print squares already cut, ready to go. I'm going to get myself organized so that I don't have to think about what I'm grabbing. I just know that everything is ready. It's there and it's all good. So I'm going to set up little piles of fabric that include my print and my background. Just like this. Oops. Come on, get back on there. And in the meantime, while I'm doing this, if there are any questions in the chat, just feel free to go ahead and tag me. I do have some friends here that have moderator permission, so you can see their names pop up in bold blue. If you have any questions, feel free to ask one of them or tag myself, and we'll make sure that we get you an answer. What white solid is this? Beth wants to know. This is Kona, or I'm sorry, not Kona. This is Moda Bella Solids 9998. I destashed. I kept buying like, oh, I need white, right? And so I bought a couple of times like a Riley Blake confetti cotton white, or I would buy like a 5-yard cut of a white from somewhere. But then what happens is as I'm using that up, I can't remember what white that was. And it becomes a bit of a problem because as we all know in quilting, there's more than just one white, right? Like you have multiple whites. So what I've done is actually destashed. These are all, I still need to cut background for those. What I've actually done is destashed all of my other whites, and I went in for a bolt of Moda Bella Solids, 9998. That seems to be the white that I tend to go for when I'm dealing with Moda. And anytime I want white, I'm just going to pull from that bolt. That way I don't ever have to second guess, what is my white? Is this white? Is this off-white? Is it solid? Like, I just don't have to guess. It does make my life a whole lot easier. Donna says, I love Moda fabrics. Me too. Also, my sewing machine is off, so that's interesting. And we're going to switch things up a bit. I haven't gotten too far on this quilt that I can't try something new, especially since I can test out along the way. Mary has, she had bought, before she and I started hanging out and building our little friendship, she had bought a Juki 2010, just like I have, and she had never really used it. Well, she bought this 1/4-inch foot, and I think she had meant to buy from Juki Junkies, and I think she had meant to buy the left compensating foot. And so instead of sending it back, this was a foot that I had been thinking about getting. She gave it to me. So I think we're going to switch out the feet. I don't think, I know because I just did. I'm going to use this 1/4-inch foot tonight and see if that helps me get a more consistent seam. So here we go. I am pressing my seams underneath the middle square. I know eventually I'm going to have some seams that are going underneath the white, and that's okay. I'm not going to stress about it. It's going to happen. But if I can reduce the amount of fabric that's going under the white square and just press underneath that darker print square, I think that's okay. That's better. Whew, still getting set up. Oh, and I got an eyelash in my eye. We'll turn my iron on too. I probably am not going to be doing a lot of cutting. So we're going to bring the mat down here. That was interesting. Linda says, yeah, you got to buy those backgrounds by the bolt. That's true. Sean is here tonight too. If you are a content, Sean, Tiffany, Donna, Ian, I know you guys are all here. Make sure to tell the people about what your live stream or video upload schedules are so they're to find you and when. I'm waiting for the iron to heat up so I can press these seams. One of the things that I've been trying to mom as I'm going is that it's a ritual, like it's a pattern working on, gosh, I got eyelash in my eye. Working on some of the stuff is really just, it's a habit, right? You're getting into the rhythm of things. You sew, press, trim, repeat. And I am checking right quick. Oh, this is not good. This is not, oh yeah, that is. Nope, it's off a bit. Okay, so this is interesting, but when I sew with that 1/4 inch foot, this 4.5 inch square that was perfectly 4.5 inches, when I put the fabric right up against that guide on the right hand side, I'm actually getting a square that's about a 1/16 of an inch shy than the 4 inch. So this is coming up at like 3 7/8 instead of 4 inches. And I know over time that's going to cause problems. So if I'm going to switch out the foot and start using that, and this does look like a very big seam allowance for a 1/4 inch. If I'm going to take the time to switch out my seam allowance, then I want to make sure that I understand how to work with this 1/4 inch foot. The fabric was right up against the guide when that happened. So let me adjust a little bit and see how this works. I feel like the general foot that I had, I think that's supposed to be a scant 1/4 inch according to what I've heard from folks. It's just the general foot that comes with the machine, but every time I use that and I just line my fabric up with the edge of that foot, I feel like I get a consistent solid 1/4 inch every single time. All right, before we go any further, this is how I'm going to test my 1/4 inch. So if you've never seen anybody do this before, pay attention here. I have got some fabric that I'm going to sew together, and realistically, it doesn't matter what all three of them are sized at. You just need to know what this middle piece is sized at. So I'm going to bring my ruler in, and I'm just going to double check the size on this. And I can see that it is 4.5 inches square. And the way I can do that is by putting the entire ruler on top of the piece of fabric so that I can see all 4 lines, and then I can count over. This is coming, I put it a 1/2 inch in this way and a 1/2 inch in this way, and the fabric is coming right up at that 5-inch line on either side. So I know the square is perfectly 4.5 inches. Now, if I sew fabric with a 1/4 inch seam on either side of this, once I've sewn that and pressed it out, this middle square should no longer measure 4.5 inches wide. It should now measure 4 inches wide. And so what I'm doing is sewing this fabric together using this 1/4 inch presser foot. I think I just had it over a little too far. So I'm sewing the fabric on there on both sides, and then I'm going to press it with the iron, and I'm going to measure it with my ruler and see if this green piece of fabric in the middle now measures at 4 inches. If everything adds up, if all the math adds up, if my placement of everything adds up, it'll come out at exactly 4 inches. Linda says, I have a bolt of solid white and a white on white, but no big purchases again until December. Don't tell me about any sales. I'm not planning to have any sales until the end of summer, August timeframe. I've got too much stuff going on. All right, so that is perfect. So I can see my green square hits right on that 2-inch line, and then again on that 6-inch line. That's exactly 4 inches. That's exactly what I want to see. Here's what I was doing wrong, in case you were curious. When I used this 1/4 inch foot, I was lining up the fabric with the flange, which is, just like 2 or 3 threads further away than the right edge of the foot. So rather than using that flange as my guide, I don't know why it's doing that. I'm using the edge of the foot as my guide, and that's going to be the difference for me. So now we're just going to keep using this the way I was before. The flange is not my guide for my eye. Instead, the flange is just like the protection to keep me from going too far off to the right. So I'm looking at the fabric as it's coming up to the foot and keeping the edge of it lined up with the edge of the fabric. What is 8 a.m. Eastern? Oh, yes. Yes, Sean is 8 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. I was like, wait, what about yeah, that stuff. Yeah. Is the quilt on you're working with, is this the quilt you're working on with Fallon and Chris O'Neill? No, it is not. That quilt is finished and has been sent off for quilting. I sent it to Fallon from, not Fallon, sorry, I'm thinking of Fallon. I sent it to Beth from Goody Goods. She has the quilt and is going to quilt it for me and send it back. And so I have a pattern that will be dropping in the next few weeks once I get the quilt back and have it bound, and I can show you what the project will look like when it's all done. I'm really excited for it. You guys are going to love it. Oh, Donna says her flange works perfectly for her 1/4 inch. Interesting. Well, mine's not. It might be my foot. There we go. Pretty. Somebody asked me a question. I think it was, or maybe sent me a comment. I saw it pop up. I think Janine said I had pretty nails, and Ian sent that over to me to make sure I saw it. So, yeah, thank you for that. Pretty pink nails, Becca. Thank you, Janine. Linda said, I just said I'm not buying anything. And now I want to know about that tiny ruler. This little tiny ruler here, I guess is what you're talking about. This is the 2.5 inch square Creative Grids ruler. And this is another go-to of mine. It's the 1.5 inch by 6.5 inch Creative Grids rulers. I use these a lot, as you can see, because they're sitting right here. Okay. Now that I've got that here, I think for the purposes of keeping things streamlined tonight, what I'm going to do is what I taught my mom to do. She was getting overwhelmed building out all of her blocks all at once. So like building out a block and then moving on to the next one. So I've been teaching her assembly line sewing, especially because she is drawing the seams on all of her fabric. So I think I'm going to take a page from that book, and I'm just going to pick up each stack of fabric that I have organized, and I'm just going to put my white border around this center square. And then if I get through all of that from what I have cut tonight, then I'll move into making the stitch and flips that are going to go on the outer border of those blocks. So this is what we're going to do to start with. We're just going to do some assembly line stuff. So I need 2 of these, 2 of these, and none of these. Chain stitch. Could do some chain stitching, actually. That's not a bad idea. But I got to get myself organized for it because it is not organized right now. You know what? No. It'll take more time to organize me for separating it that way. I'm just going to do things my way. Where do you buy a bolt of fabric? Ronnie wants to know. I buy it from Moda. I have a business license and a reseller's license with my state that allows me to buy directly from manufacturers. So that's how I buy some of the brand new fabric for my shop. Allows me to buy wholesale for some of that stuff, which is a whole lot more affordable than retail. But you got to buy by the bolt. I also know, like, So Yeah, they'll do bolt sales too, especially for their solids. So what did Karen say? Karen said, oh, okay, got it. I'm talking to Lori. Understood. Random question, please. How do you all organize your patterns and books? I just ordered another triangle on a roll book because I can't find the one I know I have. Oh, Sue, that's not a random question. That's actually a really good question. So I have all of my patterns, my loose patterns, in binders, in sheet protectors and binders, like half size binders actually. And then for my books, I keep them all on a shelf. I have a couple of bookshelves by the entry to my room. All of my books, my quilting books, my pattern binders, everything is over there. And some of my patterns are actual pattern books. I keep them all together. But the other thing that I do is they have apps where you can track all of your books in there. You can scan like the IBSN on the back of the book. I keep all of my books in a database so I know what I have. That way, when I'm out and about, I don't have to think back, wait a minute, do I have this book? I know I have it because I can just look at my database. And that could be done with a spreadsheet. It could be done with a notepad list. It doesn't matter what you have as long as you have a method that allows you to easily check to see if you have that book title. Google Docs works great and it's free. Hi, Tammy. Welcome to the live stream. I am continuing my progress on my layer cake pop quilt using the Sugar Pie line by Lella Boutique and a Moda Bella Solid. What long arm do you have? Tammy wants to know. I have an Amara by Handy Quilter. It does not, as of the recording of this video, it does not have the Pro Stitcher component to it. So anything that comes off of that machine, I actually physically have to stitch myself. I am in the market for adding Pro Stitcher to it. There are some quilts that just don't need to be custom quilted and I just want to have finished. And I feel like in those instances, having the automation to do the quilting for me while I'm in the room, able to pay some attention to the machine, but focusing on other things too. It'll allow me to multitask. But it would still give me the option to do some pre-motion quilting on the machine as well. Thinking about that. The right way. I also use a bookshelf and a binder to store books and patterns, but a spreadsheet is next level. I will be exploring that. Yes. I actually have an app on my iPhone that allows me to scan, I can't remember the name of the app, so I'm sorry. It allows me to scan the ISBN on the back of the book, and then it searches for all of the book details from a database and adds it to my list. And then I can do all sorts of fun things like list what shelf it's on, which I only have 2 bookshelves, so I don't really need to do that. Or if I loan it out to somebody, I can put in details about out where it is, all that fun stuff. And those are all features that sound great and they're like next level for organization, but I don't really use them. So I'm kind of thinking like, I think the app might be overkill for me. I want to go through and take all of my patterns, like my loose paper patterns, and catalog those into a list too. But here's the problem with that. You have so many patterns with the same name out there. Like, I don't know. It doesn't matter. You have lots of patterns by multiple designers that have the same names, but they are entirely different patterns. So you kind of need to document the pattern name and the pattern author to make sure you have a complete and accurate list. But then also, it doesn't really do you much good. I feel like it would do you good. It would keep you from buying duplicate patterns. But here's where I start to spiral with the organization on those patterns. I take it out and I decide, okay, well, that's great that I have a list of all of my patterns with the pattern author, but now I want to see from my phone when I'm at a quilt shop what that pattern looks like. And then, oh, I want to know how big the quilt is going to be. And then, oh, wait, I also now want to know how much fabric I need, what are my fabric requirements, so that if I decide I want to make that while I'm standing in the middle of the quilt shop, I can just start shopping. And then all of a sudden I get away from the goal of what the list was for, to keep me from buying a duplicate copy of the pattern. I have now merged that goal into something entirely different. So I'm trying to think through what that looks like. My paper patterns are not cataloged into a spreadsheet yet. I would like to do that, but I also would like to get all of my paper patterns shifted to PDF patterns and stored in some cloud storage so that if I find a pattern on a list and I decide I want to make it, I can just go to my cloud drive, pick out the PDF, and I've got all the information right there. The other thing to keep in mind is if you have that list and the whole idea is just to keep you from buying duplicate copies of the pattern, that basically means that you're out at a quilt shop, you saw a pattern, you think you might have it, but you're not sure and you want to check. Well, the preface of all of that is that you're holding the pattern in your hand and you're just trying to figure out whether or not you want to buy it. Well, if you're holding that pattern in your hand, you can definitely pull your fabric because the pattern's right there in your physical hand. So that's something I have to think about too. These are just all the things that kind of go through my head when I'm thinking about buying patterns and things. I see you are not using the Acorn pen. Do you only use it for certain things? Yes. I only use the Acorn Easy Press pen for foundation paper piecing. I don't feel like, or anytime I might be doing piecing with some pre-cut, die-cut pieces that didn't have sizing or starch applied to the fabric before it was cut. So the Acorn Precision Press pen for me comes in really handy when I can't apply starch to the entire block. All of this fabric was fabric I cut myself, which means I starched it before I cut it. So I don't have to worry about being finicky with the pen because I'm going to starch the blocks as I go. I hope that helped to answer your question. But I do have it, like literally right here. It sits in the bed of my machine because I do reach for it frequently. Way back in the day, Linda says, hubby worked for a company with a huge film library, everything barcoded down to the shelf, earthquake kit. They checked everything out to the floor. Hello from Oregon, Cindy says. First time making a live. Hello, Cindy. Welcome to the live stream. I'm working on the layer cake pop quilt pattern from Fat Quarter Shop. This is an older pattern. It is completely free. You can get a link to it from typing exclamation pattern in the chat box. And if you want to see what it looks like, here it is. I'll just kind of let that bad boy hang out there so when people come in, they want to know what I'm working on, they can see it. It's not in my way at all right there. Do you starch batiks? I'm going to be making my first quilt with batiks. Yes, I most certainly do. I starch everything before I cut it. Batiks, solids, prints. And by starch, I will quantify that. I don't use starch. I use a starch alternative. Turn the pattern. Thank you, Ian. I appreciate you. I'm so used to flipping it the other way. Here, this is what I'm working on. We'll just, there we go. Ian's always looking out, man. Also, can we just talk about how sad it is that he's not here right now? Like, he left. He said he had to go home. What? What does that even mean? Like, you had to leave me? Lies. Next week on Friday, I will not be live because I will be out of town, but I am contemplating a pre-record just of like an hour or something where I'm just chatting and making something and then maybe hanging out with y'all in the live chat. So I'll still have something come up on Friday night. It might not be an actual live stream. It might be a pre-record with a live chat component. But I just want to let you know. And I'll, of course, go over all that when I show it up. Hello, Cynthia Dana. Thank you for subscribing. My Adobe is a hot mess with quilt, crochet, and knit patterns. So I can tell straight away if I've already got it. Yes, Heather. I have an extending file organizer for my small collection on patterns. I have 3, quilts, sewing, and embroidery. Then all my books are on a shelf, although I have a pretty photographic memory. That's awesome. I feel like I can't say that I have a full photographic memory, but I definitely feel like there have been times where I've been in a quilt shop and I'm like, I think I have this pattern. Like looking at it, I'm like, I think I have this book. I think I have this pattern, but then this is what happens. I sit there and look at it. I'm like, oh, wait, maybe I bought it. Maybe I didn't buy it. Maybe I wanted to buy it. Did I actually buy it? I don't remember. And then I end up buying it again. So I had to find a different way to keep tabs on what I bought and what I didn't. Linda Frederick says, I'm on my 2nd week of Twilight with primitive gatherings, and I'm doing 8 and 4-inch blocks. Awesome. CC Real 64 says, Becca, I'm like you with the PDF patterns. I save mine to Dropbox and download to my iPad. I mark them up with an Apple Pencil and then erase any notes I don't want to keep. That's a great idea. That's where I want to go. I'm not there yet. I will get there soon. It's going to be an undertaking to scan in my paper patterns, but going forward, I think I just want to buy the PDFs. And I don't want to spend the money to rebuy the pattern. Part of me just wishes, like, if I bought the paper pattern from, like, a designer, if I can show you that I have the paper pattern, could I exchange it for the PDF? I will send it back to you. Or can I just pay, like, a $2 upcharge to get the digital copy? If you are a designer listening right now, that would be a great service to offer your customers. Send me proof that you have the paper copy of a pattern, and I will give you a massive discount for the PDF version. I'd love that. How many of you would like that? Let me know in the chat. Hello, Liz. Ooh, Heather says, speaking of iPads, I have just had myself a new one and a pencil for my birthday. Any apps you'd recommend for sewing, etc.? I wish they had better design apps for designing quilts, like actual quilt design software. They don't have anything that I found that's great for the iPad, but I will say Pre-Quilt, it's a web-based software that you can do in Safari. Pre-Quilt has some good features that would allow you to design somewhat on your iPad. It's not as fully fleshed out and functional as EQ8, but it's a good piece of software. Also, I've been using GoodNotes to take actual like physical notes and jot things down. I like it. I need to use it more. And it also does have some graph paper that you can use to do some designing and drawing in there. And then Procreate is another one, though I've not really used that very much. Sadly, I feel like developers underestimate the power that the iPad actually brings, especially like the iPad Pro. They could develop so many more apps for the iPad Pro. It could be like a Surfaces. It could be a laptop equivalent, but the software developers aren't developing the apps for it the way they should. And so as a result, you have these high-powered tablets that act like a phone. And it could do so much more than a phone. It's not the hardware that's lacking, it's the software. You're getting really good at AQ8, Ian said. Thank you. I like it. And Ian sent me a crying emoji from, said, I'm sad I'm not there either. I know, buddy. Lori says, or include a coupon in the PDF for the paper pattern. That would work too. Except a lot of my paper patterns I bought before PDF patterns became a big thing. So like, can we get a little something something? That would be great. I'd love it. Speaking of EQA, if you guys didn't know, over the past week I have designed a few things in EQ8, and I have released 5 now FPP postcard patterns. They're on my website, and I will show them to you. Do you want to see them? I will show them to you. So if you haven't downloaded them already, I'll show you what I got. Because I'm almost done adding the borders to all of these. So you guys can check those out over at my website, sewbecca.com. They're in the pattern shop. I am selling the PDFs for the FPP postcard patterns for $3 a piece. If you are a VIP member, you get them for free. I'm going to add the white borders to this last block, and then I'll show you the PDFs or I'm sorry, I'll show you the postcard patterns that I have designed and released. I think I have them all here because I've tested them all. They're a lot of fun to make. They're a little addicting. In fact, we might do a little giveaway for some postcards. So I'll start the countdown and the winners will get one of the postcards that I've made because I've got a pile of them over here that I need to send out. So I'll count how many I have to send and we'll open up the giveaway bot. And if you win, you'll get a quilted postcard that I made myself and I wrote to you. I'll get those dropped in the mail tomorrow. Oh, Pam says, the thing that gets me is why is the PDF pattern the same price as the paper pattern? I don't know. I don't know. Like I don't know. I don't know. I do know it takes a lot of time to write the patterns, but I will say, okay, well, I don't know. I could go two ways on this, right? So like with the paper pattern, you got to buy the pattern, pay for the ink, have it printed. And a lot of times those are professionally printed, so that does increase the cost. But with the PDF pattern, you got to pay for the storage on a website somewhere. And a lot of times you got to pay transaction fees and service fees and to sell it. But if you're selling the paper pattern on the same website, you're paying those same fees for that pattern. But then you got to pay postage it's a whole, I don't know. I could see both sides of it. I kind of feel like I'm in the camp of the pattern is worth the money because you spent the time and energy to design it. But I feel like I want to see like $1 or $2 discount for the PDF. Is that bad? But I guess also from the designer standpoint, I'm just trying to think of both sides of it. The other side from the designer might be that once they sell you the PDF, they have no control. But I guess with the paper, maybe you also don't. I don't know. I literally feel like I'm stuck right in the middle of that. Okay. All of my white strips are on there. Let me show you the postcards that I have. So we're just going to, because one of these, okay, this one's already going, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Some of these are Christmas themed. We're going to send them out anyway because I need to get them out of here. So these are not ones that I have a pattern for. These are just 4 that, oh, I do them this way. These are just 4 that I made last time Ian was here. They're, maybe they're just cute. Maybe I'll keep these set aside. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep these set aside for Christmas time. I'm going to keep building up some Christmas postcards. So we're not going to worry about those. These are the ones that I am giving away tonight. I've got one that says hi. I've got red and white stripes with a blue star on it. These are all patterns you can get on my website right now. Some of them are free, like this Pride Progress flag. This is the one that I designed with Ian here last week. Hi is also free right now for a period of time. It will go up to $3. This is a $3 download. The spools, which is brand new today, and the sewing machine, which is new as of yesterday. So these are the 5 designs that are on my website, and these 2 are free. So I'll do it like this. The top 2 are free downloads, and then the bottom 3 are $3 a piece. So we're going to do, I've already got a place for this one, and I got a place for this one. So we're going to do 3 giveaways for 3 postcards. And if you guys are okay getting Christmas in June or July, I'll toss in the other 4. You tell me, should we run all 7 or just the 3? Let me know. All right, I'm going to go into Streamlabs and start getting that giveaway set up. See if we can get that going. I have a 10-minute. Your choice. All 7. Okay. It's going to be exclamation. Wait, what is it? Oh, exclamation oops. A quilted. Okay, cool. Exclamation oops is the command for the giveaway tonight, I think. Let me double check. So I don't actually, okay, I do see tickets being given out. Good, 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 good. And this is international because I have international stamps. This is one that I can definitely tell you I'm not going to go broke sending overseas. So if you are international, make sure to put in exclamation oops. And Thomas putting in an exclamation oops like she's not going to see me in a couple of days. Well, just so you know, if you win, I'm bringing it to you. I don't have any more of my background pieces cut, so I'm going to set these aside. And I think I'm going to pull this back over and start doing some stitch and flips just to get through this pile. So we'll do one block at a time. Oh, this is directional fabric. My brain could go in a million different ways with this. I think I'm not going to worry about the direction. We're just going to do this. We're not going to over stress about the direction of the fabric on the stitch and flips. It could hurt my brain seriously if when I say direction, I don't mean this direction. So when I'm sewing this on, I need to make sure that the line that's on the wrong side of my 2.5-inch squares of my print fabric, I need to make sure that they're pointing into like a V, so that if the lines were to continue, they would eventually cross. You don't want them to be parallel to one another. So that's what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking about when I'm talking about direction. When I'm talking about direction, I'm just going to make sure that none of my I'm not going to worry about the direction of the print, if that makes any sense. I hope it does. Ba-dum-bum-bum. I'm loving it. Yesterday, we had Chick-fil-A for dinner. Zoe has saxophone lessons on Thursday, and we usually do fast food Thursday nights. Jason stops and picks up something, usually of Zoe's choice on her way home, and Chick-fil-A was the winner last night. And I got a market salad. So good. Except Jason ordered, so the market salad has like blue cheese and strawberries and apples. It's so good. And Jason got ranch dressing to go with it. I was like, this is not a ranch dressing kind of salad. So it was a little, I would have ate it without any dressing at all because I like vegetables and I like salads. But I thought we had some balsamic vinaigrette in the fridge, and lucky enough, we sure did. So I went and grabbed that. and poured it on, and oh my goodness, that was absolutely divine. And I did so good with dinner by having a salad that I definitely had a peach milkshake. It was so yummy and took me about 4 hours to get through. It was definitely liquid by the time I finished it. Oh, geez. See, here, okay, you know what we're going to do? I lied. We are going to worry a little bit about the direction of this print, in that I'm just going to make sure they're always pointing the same way. So I'm going to sew like this, only because I can see the print from the back. We'll see if this works. And if this one block doesn't do what I think it should do, then I'm not going to stress about it going forward. I'm also really excited to see this quilt finished. I cannot wait. Ba-da-bum-ba-ba. Why is the McDonald's theme song stuck in my head? Who knows? We don't need this anymore, so move that out of the way. I don't need the instructions, but I know people are going to ask me what I'm working on. So, there. We'll do that. Does anybody remember the TV show on PBS, Mr. Dress Up, from back in the day? I watched that show all the time, and sometimes the sounds that come out of my creative space when I'm making a project, like picking up the scissors, setting down the pencil, that type of stuff, it just gives me flashbacks to Mr. Dress Up. Love that show. Hello, Mary Lou. I went today for a peach milkshake. Only one I will buy this season for the sugar and dairy reactions I have. It's sad. Hey, you know what? I had one, and I'm probably not going to have another one. I just had one. One a year. I'm good. Maybe two. I don't need multiple of them. I don't like how I feel after I eat a lot of, drink a lot of, do a lot of dairy. And if I'm being completely honest, I would rather have an ice cream cone rather than a full-on milkshake. So Mr. Dressup was wonderful, Karen Little says. My son loved it, and that was reruns. I loved that show, Mr. Dressup. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, Mr. Dressup, Sesame Street, um, Friday Night Special, or was it the Midnight? I think it was called the Midnight Special. Although that was on Nickelodeon, and we did not have cable very much growing up. Every once in a while we would get it, but then it would usually disappear after a little while. So I didn't get to watch a lot of those cable shows like Fraggle Rock, and it was like Sesame Street, Mr. Dress Up, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I think that was it. I feel like I'm missing a couple, but that was it. The ice cream we got was so good. I need you to ship some of that down to me. So there's a place in, this one's off just a little bit. And I can see where it is. On that line, I got too far away from it. So I'm just going to reinforce this. There's a little town near where I live called Clifton, Virginia. And I think, if I remember right, the history for this town is it was one of, or is the first town, one of the first towns, or the first town where freed black slaves settled and got to buy property. So there's a lot of history there. It's a very old town, but one of the things that they have is this really cute little train station. It used to be the train station for the town, and they've turned it into an ice cream shop called the Ice Cream Depot, and they have some phenomenal ice cream. We went twice while Ian was here. The first night was a whole family outing. My mom went, Zoe went, Jason went, Ian went, we all went. And they have rotational flavors that sometimes last a day and sometimes they can last almost a week. It just depends on how quickly that flavor sells. Well, when we went the one night with the whole family, I got this ice cream called Almond Joy. It had actual almond chunks in it, some coconut bits, some chocolate bits. Oh, it was phenomenal. I was moaning while I was eating it. It was a whole thing. People were looking at me weird. It was great. It was so good that I knew we were going to go back when Mary was here, because Mary came over the weekend and she keeps talking about this ice cream place out by her called Rocky Point Creamery. And we've been, and the ice cream's good, but it's about an hour and a half from my house. It is not good enough for an hour and a half drive, though Mary will tell you that it is. You hands down, yes, it is. And I'll argue her on that, especially since I have Clifton right here. But if I'm out in Mary's neck of the woods, is it worth the drive? Absolutely. Absolutely. Anywho, I knew I wanted to take Mary to the ice cream depot. And so I had it in my head for the days afterwards that we were going to go on Saturday night. And Ian and Mary, and we were going to show up at the ice cream depot, and I was going to get another round of Almond Joy. And we showed up, and guess what they did not have anymore? Almond Joy. I don't remember what I got. I don't remember what I got that second time, but it wasn't as good as the Almond Joy. So sad. See, there goes Mary. It is. No, it's not, Mary. Don't you be telling lies. It's not worth an hour and a half drive. No, not as good as Calder ice cream candy, and not as good as Bob Joe's either. But that's just because I'm biased. All right, the way these go together, I'll show you here. You're going to take your little square and then these 4 strips where you did your stitch and flip, and you're going to lay it out like this, bordering all 4 sides of the block. Oh, the s'mores one. You're right. It was the s'mores one. The s'mores one was not as good. It was good, but I really wanted the Almond Joy. So this is the layout for the block. Okay. Oh. So I'm going to sew my little cornerstones on to the top and bottom, and then I'm just going to make my middle row, and I'm going to sew all 3 rows together. Mary said, poor Becca. Jason and I drove out to, when Mom was here, Jason, Mary, and I, my mother-in-law was here and she stayed behind with Zoe. She didn't want to go. But my mom, Jason, and I all drove the hour out to Mary's house so that we could go to Rocky Point Creamery, and she treated us all to some ice cream. And I will say, I got a salted caramel pretzel there, and that was really good, but it was no Almond Joy. And the drive out to Mary's house is a very scenic country drive too, so it was a nice outing. Oh, I think the way I was pressing these before, the instructions have you press everything open at this stage. I've not been doing that. I've been pressing everything underneath the half square triangle units, and I've not been having a problem. You'll get a flatter result if you press open, obviously, but I don't really feel like it's necessary, so I've not been doing that. Also, can we talk about how it's almost July? Like, when did that happen? Oops, get back. Carvel ice cream. I didn't even know if they're a thing anymore. Ooh, Gwen says, I am a Ben and Jerry girl myself. Mary comes out just about every Sunday to spend the day with me, which is honestly something that I really appreciate because for those of you that don't know, my stepson is he's developmentally and intellectually delayed. He's diagnosed with, he's a low functioning low functioning nonverbal autistic, and also has some intellectual disabilities as well. So Jason leaves every Sunday to go spend time with Justice, his son, and make sure that he's doing okay and everything's all good. Some Sundays he brings him back home. Some Sundays we go with him to spend time with him. But most of the time, it's just a thing that Jason does with his son. So Mary comes out on Sundays, and I actually kind of welcome the company because otherwise it'd be a very lonely day. Nobody would be here. It'd be very lonely. So she usually comes out on Sundays, sometime midday, do the church stuff early in the morning. They have early services so that I don't have to miss Mary. Though I've really been doing more streaming online than anything else, and maybe I should not do that. Maybe I should actually go in person. But people, am I right? Anywho, so Mary comes out middle of the day and she spends some time with me, and usually she brings her puppies who don't like my puppies, and my puppies love her puppies. So we do keep them separated, but they're really good in the studio. They usually just want a soft surface to lay on, and they just curl up with their blanket and just keep you company. My dogs are the crazy ones. My dogs are all over the place. Okay, I gotta press this the other way then. I'm trying to press all of my seams so that everything nests. Speaking of crazy dogs, Beetlejuice got groomed for the first time since he's been fixed this week, and he looks like a completely different dog because he was so overdue for his grooming. Oh, it's so sad. He looks so sad. But he looks so cute. Every time he comes back from the groomers with this new haircut, I'm like, he looks like a whole new dog. Akumu goes for his first grooming appointment on Tuesday. Today, he officially got his last shot. He's all done with all of his puppy vaccines, and today he got his rabies shot. So he is fully ready to encounter the world. He weighs 6.5 pounds at 18 weeks. 6.5 pounds. Oh, Tiffy. Tiffy's here. Hi, friend. They are still pups. Beetlejuice will be a year next month. He's going to be a year old. Where did that time go? The end of July, he'll be a year old. They don't look like my sister's puppy either. Puppies are too much energy for my two to deal with, she said. Yeah. So Mary's sister, Mary shares a home with a couple of her siblings, and her sister just got, I want to say a golden doodle, but I know that's wrong. And she'll put in the chat what breed of dog he got. He looks like a teddy bear. He's so soft. He's a pup and he's a good dog. He has a good temperament. And but he's a puppy and he has energy. And Mary's dogs are senior citizens and they just cannot handle the whippersnapper. They're just like, no, sit down, be quiet, don't move, and we'll get along fine. But in my defense, or in their defense, I'm the same way. I don't want to deal with that either. All right, so there's another block finished. I'm going to put this on the pile with my other blocks. Although I'm going to turn it a little sideways because that needs to be starched to get it to lay perfectly flat. It's a little wonky, not much. Nothing that starch won't take care of. Brewster's is good, and we have a Cold Stone too. Did BJ go to puppy classes? No, he hasn't yet, but we have sent him to like doggy daycare for socialization and things. We had a very good dog before we had Beetlejuice. His name was Aiden. Some of you probably remember him. I loved that dog. He was a very big coonhound, great dog, very well trained, very well mannered, just awesome dog all the way around. When we got Aiden, he was actually a Christmas gift for me early on in our relationship. My husband got him adopted and paid all the fees, and that was my Christmas gift. But early on when we got Aiden, I'm just trying to make sure I'm drawing the lines the right way. Early on when we got Aiden, I spent a lot of time working with trainers on Aiden, so I knew how to train him and how to interact with him. And a lot of those same principles I've kind of applied to Beetlejuice. I've not taken him to actual classes because the techniques are all still kind of the same, right? You got to find what motivates your dog. You got to find out how to nicely and humanely correct them when they're not doing what they need to do. You need to learn how to assert yourself with the animal. And so those are the things that I've kind of done. Am I an expert in this? Absolutely not. But we've found what works for us so far. Maybe now that he's settled down and he has an attention span that's not the size of a gnat, perhaps I'll take him for training. I took Aiden for training when he was about a little over a year old. And that's when I got the most out of that session. So, but we had just adopted Aiden a few months before we did that too. So I don't know. Maybe we will. I honestly just haven't had the time to do it. So we've just been teaching him here. He knows sit, he knows down. He's working on stay. He's working on leave it. I tell him enough. Sometimes he listens, sometimes he doesn't. Enough is usually when he's all riled up, barking at something that's not out there, or at least something that I can't see and hear anyway. He does know settle, and he will listen to settle, but not when he's really excited. Oh, the timer's done. I'm so sorry. I'm in the zone, and I forgot to pick the winner for the thing. Let's pick a winner. Katina01TX. Can you let me know that you're in the chat? Just type anything. Becca, do you sew a thread away from the line? Yes, I do, Mary Lou. Mm. I just sneezed. No, I didn't. I lied. Whatever, we're keeping it. We're keeping it. I started to worry about the direction of the print of the fabric, and I realized that the other ones are kind of different, so we're just going to leave it the way it is. We're going to keep sewing it, and in the end, it's not going to matter. If I don't stress about it now, then that will be a design choice that all of those little triangles that you'll see framing out the stars are going in different directions. That'll be a design choice to make it look just a little bit more scrappy rather than a matchy-matchy, lay it out perfectly type of choice. Katina is here. Awesome. Thank you, Katina. Send me an email with your physical mailing address to becca@sewbecca.com. We'll do another one, and this one will run for 5 minutes instead of, 10. Okay. And if Mary or Ian or one of the moderators, if you could just ping me if you see that timer is up and I missed it, so we're staying on top of these, I would really appreciate that. I'll try to keep my eyes on it. It's 9:24 now, so 9:29 my time. That'll be up. Okay. We'll do 7 of these. So as soon as this one ends, thank you, buddy. We'll just run another one, and we'll do it for 5-minute durations. We'll give away 7 altogether. Four of them will be Christmas themed, so happy Christmas in July. Because it'll probably be July by the time you get it, I'm guessing. If I mail them out on Monday. Did you make the quilt with Fallon from your stash? I did. The quilt that I made with Fallon, I pulled from my stash. I think you know that already. I think what you're asking is the quilt made? The quilt is completely pieced and it is in Beth Goods possession. She's going to do the quilting on it and send it back. And once I get it back and have the binding so that I can show you what the quilt looks like, then I will drop the pattern. So the pattern's coming probably in about 2 weeks. It will be a $5 download right now. Maybe I'll change this in the future, but right now all of my patterns that I sell, all of my quilt patterns are $5 downloads, and then if I'm doing just like a block or like an FPP template for like a postcard or something really, really small, I'll adjust the price on that. Right now my pricing structure is $3 for an FPP postcard pattern, which I am having a heck of a time. I'm loving doing these, and $5 for a quilt pattern. That pricing structure may change in the future though. However, I will tell you, if you are a part of my VIP program on my website, you get all of my patterns 100% for free in the VIP pattern library. So if you do exclamation VIP in the chat, you'll see all of that. And those VIP members, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, you might get the pattern added since it's already ready to go and I'm just waiting to make the video to show the reveal and put it out there for sale and take the pictures. I might make that pattern available to VIP members tonight. So if you're not a member of the VIP program, you might want to consider joining. $5 a month recurring payment. You get all my patterns for free, plus access to a monthly Zoom and quarterly virtual retreats. And we actually have a Zoom coming up this Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. I've already got my next full-size quilt pattern that's in the wings. It's written and it's going out for testing soon. Thank you, Mary. All right, let's pick our winner and then we'll start it. Ian sent me a message. All right, Felicia Ross, we've got you. Thank you both. We've got you as the winner. If you could just reply in the chat, let me know you acknowledge that you have won, and then you'll have to email me a physical mailing address where I can mail your postcard to becca@sobecca.com, and I'll drop it in the mail for you this weekend. Now, keep in mind, these postcards are not going to be mailed with tracking, because I'm literally putting a stamp on it. So I don't have a tracking number to give you, but we're going to drop it in the mail and send it your way. Just waiting for Felicia Ross to acknowledge that she sees she has won. There she is. Yay. Thank you. So we're going to come on and we're going to run it again, another 5 minutes. You think this is number 3. So we're going to run this 4 more times after this, which should just we'll just keep doing this until we run out of time tonight. So I think we've got it lined up. It's always funny when I look over and I see just like the chat go whoop. Donna Sweetman, you have been entered into the giveaway. I'm just reading names at random. Joy Gillespie, Harriet Sue Franklin, Pumpkins Patchwork. Sue's been entered into the... Sue, aren't you Tucker's table mate from all of Miss T's retreats? Every time I see your name now, I think of Tucker going, that's my table mate. Like, okay, that's my table mate. There we go. I pressed it in the wrong direction. That's okay. It's still going to work. I'm just going to flip it with my finger. Not that way. You know what I mean? We're just going to flip the seam around the other way with my finger. I'm going to fix this. Oh, my nose itches. He is gifted. Sue says, yes, I am. That young man is so gifted. Yes, he is. He's got a bright future ahead of him. And I think we can all say we knew him win one day. So much talent. So much talent. Thank you, Karen. She said, your nails look pretty. Thank you. True story. When I got my nails done, I grabbed this really bright color. Ian was here when I went. He had to work. I had some appointments that day. So I took the day off work. And I was like, well, while you're working, I'm going to go get my nails done. I'm going to get a mani-pedi and I'll be back in a few hours. So I leave. Okay, that is right. Good. I leave, and on my way out the door, I was like, what color should I get? Pick a color. And he goes, tangerine. And I was like, okay, sure. And apparently it stuck. I didn't go completely tangerine, but I did get this really bright kind of like pinky corally color, which I thought was a lot of fun. But it was inspired because he yelled tangerine as I was walking out the door. And I didn't even leave the salon before people were like, ooh, I love your nails. I'm like, thank you. And I get home, mom's like, I don't like them. But she's been the only one because everybody else is like, I love them. I'm like, thank you. My mom said, I'm too white for these nails. I don't have enough of a tan. She said the bright color like this, she expects to see on somebody who has a really good base tan, and I have no tan. So that's why she doesn't like it, apparently. Like, I don't care what you, I don't care. I like wearing the color. It's fine. I've gone through a couple of drive-throughs, just like getting Starbucks, and we do Taco Bells on Friday because I work from home. My husband's here too. Went through the drive-through at the Taco Bell, and they were like, "Oh, I like your nails." I'm like, "Thank you." All right, raffle has closed. Let's pick our next winner. Paula Sturgis. Thank you, Ian, for letting me know. Let's have her type in the chat. Heather said, yay, bedtime has come at last. Becca winner! It's funny. Waiting to see if Paula is in the chat. Paula Sturgis, if you could type in the chat, let me know you see that you have won a postcard for me. That would be particularly helpful. Of course you can sew with us. Hello, Life Sew. Life Sew BZ. What does that mean? BZ. Like easy would be cool, but BZ? I have no idea. I'm trying to think in my head, like, what would BZ stand for? Like, bzz? Like, Life Sew bzz. I have no, literally, I'm getting delirious. Let me just drink some water. Oh, she did reply? Did she? Yeah, she did. Yay, you won. Okay, let's do our next winner. Our next giveaway. Another, I think I'm at 4 now. We'll look. I have a history. I can see it. 1, 2, 3. This is number 4. Okay, cool. Cool. Should I keep working? I should probably keep working. Do I want to keep working? I don't know. We'll keep working. Cuts. These blocks ain't going to make themselves. Where'd my pen go? Oh, here it is. I lied. I was going to be like, I can't find my pen. It's right over there. It was right over there. I'm afraid my table mate may have been hijacked by Donna, Sue said. I think your table mate is doing like 5 gazillion different things. I haven't seen or heard from him in forever. Is he even posting videos? Like, I feel like I haven't even seen him active on his YouTube channel. All right. Not all of these are going the right direction. This way, this way. This way. I said we're not going to stress about it. Stop worrying about the layout of the fabrics. He's at Grandma's for the summer. Yeah, I knew. What kind of Amara do you have? There's only one kind. It's the Handy Quilter Amara. What do you mean by that? Do you mean like the frame and whether I have Pro Stitcher and stuff, Joy? I have the Handy Quilter Amara. So there's no other way to explain that. But it is on a 10-foot frame and it does not have Pro Stitcher. I think that's probably what you're asking. It's not computerized. You ask if you want to keep working. I asked myself if I want another Dr. Pepper. Decisions, Heather said. Well, I might do this one and then we'll pop over to the Facebook group and see what y'all have been working on. Oh, size 20 or 24. The Amara is a 20-inch throat. Thank you for clarifying your question. I wasn't sure what you were trying to get to. I think the Forte is the 24. Honestly, I feel like for me, the 20-inch is perfect. And I probably could have even had a smaller throat size, like a 15 or an 18, and I would have been perfectly okay. The reason why I went with the 18 or the 20 inch is because I wanted to be able to do, I wanted one day, I'm not there yet, but I liked the idea of being able to quilt, custom quilt a 12-inch block in one pass. And so that's why I went with the 18, because you take up a little bit of space at the back of the throat when you're rolling the quilt up at the back. And I knew I would need to compensate for that. So that's why I went with the 20-inch throat. Well, price point was, I didn't need the bigger one. I didn't need anything bigger. I did not have any plans when I bought the machine to get the computer anytime soon. I didn't have any plans to get the computerized add-on for the long arm. I do want it now, but I don't want it so that I can do commission work. That's not my intention. I don't have enough time to do commission work in my schedule. So I would rather focus on designing patterns, writing the patterns, hosting some quilting events, and making some fun YouTube videos. I don't have enough time in my schedule to take on customer quilts. I want the Pro Stitcher honestly just for me, and that is a very big expense for a personal thing to be able to finish my quilts faster. However, when I write a pattern and I want to release it, I like to be able to show you what that quilt will look like when it's all done. And it would be really nice if I didn't have to mail off my quilt to have somebody throw it on a computerized long arm every time I needed to have a quilt finished. That's where I am right now. I don't have a problem with it. I might be in that position for another 2 years, 5 years, 6 months. I don't know. But I do know Pro Stitcher is in my future, and it is not in my future because I'm going to start doing customer quilts anytime soon. That is not going to be a thing. All right, Christine. Getting hot. Okay, we're going to pick our winner. Jane, you have won this postcard. If you could message in the chat, let me know you see that. Anybody who's won a postcard tonight needs to email me their physical mailing address, even if you think I have it, to becca@sewbecca.com. Please just help me out, because if it's at the top of my email address, I can just copy it down instead of digging for it. Jane, I see you're talking to Tiffany, so I know you're here. I just want you to acknowledge that you know you have to email me your physical mailing address. Yay! Good, good, good. Okay, we're going to complete that entry and we'll start another one. Good night, Janine. I'm going to stop here and we're going to take a look at the Facebook group and see what everybody else has been working on tonight. Can you add it to your existing long arm? Yes. So the nice thing about the long arms, the way at least the handy quilters are set up, I don't know much about any of the other ones, but I believe this is the case with the rest of them. To add the computerized edge to edge, the computerized automation, it's just an upgrade that you can purchase later. You don't have to buy it at the time that you buy the long arm. So what I chose to do is I footed the bill to get the 10-foot frame. I didn't need anything bigger because, again, I'm not doing this for commission. I am doing this for myself and charity. Sometimes I'll do charity quilts. So I got the 10-foot frame. At the time, that was I only had room for a 10-foot frame. Now that I'm in this space, I probably have room to maybe put a 14-foot frame if I wanted to, but it would take up a lot of space in here. And I look at the quilts that go on my 10-foot frame, and I never use the entire 10 feet. I use maybe 80% of it at the most. So the 10-foot frame is perfect for me. I probably could have even done just an 8-foot frame. So I have the 10-foot frame. I chose to do that with the Amara. I wanted a bigger throat over the bigger frame and no pro stitcher, but that is going to be an upgrade I do soon. Hopefully. We'll see. All right, let's hop over to Facebook. We're going to see what you guys have been working on. So if you have been working on a project tonight and you want to show people what you've been doing, all you need to do is post it in the Facebook group. So here we go. We're going to start off with a post from Bill Imhoff. He says, really fast baby quilt done this week. No batting, no binding, just flannel on the back. There we go. Moving on down to Christine Wolf. Date with Jack. I forgot to check out how things lined up before I sewed. At least I only sewed the 2 rows together. This is baby quilt for a neighbor. Becca, do you join Fat Quarter? Do you join Fat Quarter Shop Mystery Sew Along Quilt? Yes, I did. I'm guessing that was supposed to be did. I do have the 2023 Designer Mystery Quilt. I actually got Clue 1 in the mail, which is right here. This is what month 1 is going to look like. I haven't done it yet. I just got it this week. In case you are curious, I'll pop over to the multicam. This is, oh, sorry, you're looking at it this way now. This is what month 1 will look like. Looks like an easy sew. In fact, I should probably keep this out so that I can do this when I'm away next week. That's a good idea. Thank you for that reminder. Hi, Tracy. All right, we're going to go back to the screen share. Ronnie says this is her mosaic quilt. Wow, I kind of like that. Yolanda Hale, she is going to put sashing, but not sure what to use yet. Pretty blocks. Wow, I'm getting tired. Sorry. Holly made these lovely items. We've got some rope baskets. And it looks like some tablecloths with some applique on there. Oh, yum. Pink lemonade. Mint lemonade. Oh, yes. My husband's been making mint tea lately. He brews some black tea, I think it is, and then pulls the black tea bags out and throws mint tea bags in and lets it steep overnight. It's delicious. Love it. Holly left a comment on that. She said, forgot to say what I made. My world famous bowls, in my opinion. These are heading towards Florida and I hope they like them. Rhonda Smith has been working on some gnomes tonight. Oh gosh, that's so cute. Susie Lopez worked on this quilt this morning and it's on its way to her sister-in-law. Very pretty. Katrina Harris, the double diamond is sewn. The most confusing quilt I have ever put together. Just have to add the borders. The blue is Tula Pinks, Mineral, and Topaz. And that will be the second border. The first and third borders are monochrome black checkered fabric. It looks like the raffle has closed, so we're going to go ahead and pick our winner. Gail Merrifield, if you could just type in the chat, let me know that you're here so that we can acknowledge that you have won a prize. We're going to move on down. Sheila is working on the eye of her FPP project. And then I'm going to refresh the screen and see if anything new came in. Lori Fayer, after dating Jack most of the week, ripping out quilting, this is where my quilt ended up yesterday. Wow, but look, you're making progress. Doesn't that feel great? Yay, Gail's here. Awesome. We're going to open the giveaway up again. Another 5 minutes. We'll pick another winner. Terry Peppies. I'm so sorry, Terry. Terry Peppers is working on the string quilt. You know, that's something we haven't done in a very long time. And you know what else we haven't done? A rag quilt. Maybe those are some items that we need to do soon. Ray is working on her hubby's quilt. So cool. Kathy can too. Tonight I'm working on an advent calendar. I'll make another one just like this for my bonus grandson later this week. I thought the spool of Orifil that's over there, I thought you were going to put a comment about how you won bobbin chicken or thread chicken or something. And then I realized there's thread coming off of that spool. So probably not. Alexandra is working on the laundry basket quilt, block number 1 from Edita Sitar. Jennifer Smith just finished this top. Very pretty. Joy did a memory quilt. Oh, that's such a good idea. I love it. Nice. Barbara Cade worked on a bear paw quilt. Very nice. I'm looking at the side borders. It looks like there's tons of tiny little economy blocks in there. See if I can get in really close for you to see what I'm looking at. Do you see these? This is as close in as I can get, but they're like square and a square along the side. Holy Batman. That's a lot of work. But I picked up on that right away, so well done. Karen is doing a 3-yard quilt with landslide from Fabric Cafe. Michelle is finishing the binding on the baby quilt tonight, and she's ready to gift it tomorrow. Awesome! Pretty cute little elephants. Lily finished her applique top that she is calling Sunflower Garden. Let's take a look at this a little bit closer. She was so proud of this when she showed it in one of the Zooms that we had. She's part of the VIP program, and she was showing this off before. I think this was her. Pretty sure it was her. I will sound really stupid if it wasn't her. Katie is working on a quilt along from the Virtual Quilters Guild Mystery Quilt Along for 2023. She still has to sew on half row on the bottom and top, and then the 2 borders, and it will be done. Pretty. Valerie West, my son just retired with 20 years in the U.S. Navy, and I made him this quilt. First of all, thank you for your service and your son's service. Second of all, that's the kaleidoscope of stars pattern that I was using, but you'll notice she did something just a little bit different. And this is awesome because this is an example of how I say patterns are just a suggestion to get your mind going. You can follow them to the letter, but you can also make them uniquely yours. Look at the upper corner. Well, it's not always the upper corner, but what the square on the blocks where it should just be that just white, she's put 2 flying geese units. I think those are, is that called birds in the air? I can't remember. But that's in all of the blocks, and it just adds a whole different visual element to it. Nicely done. Heather Krintz, decision made. Another Dr. Pepper. Let's refresh and see if anything else has come in. Susan, you're out. An unquilted mug rug. Jelly roll race. Aw. And a rail fence. Very nice. I like the colors on that rail fence. Oh, Karen, I'm so proud of you. Yes. I also Karen, so this is my friend Karen who organizes the top. Well, it doesn't matter. This is my friend Karen. Hi, Karen. She's lurking in the shadows. But all of these, she has been working so hard on getting her space organized and put together. And she wants to make that, she wanted to make everything project based and get it all together. So I'm really happy to see this. I'm really happy to see this. But there's also a bin in here that says Connie. And that makes me laugh because Connie is her best friend. And she just, yeah, I see that and I'm like, I can immediately picture Connie's face. So that makes me very happy. And Thea is still working on the donation quilt. It was supposed to be 20 blocks, but I ran out of green fabric on block 20, so I had to order another yard. Now I just added another 10 blocks to the quilt fabric. Shelly Ferguson is working on family reunion gifts. Very pretty. We've got some trivets, a table runner, and a little quilt. All right. All right, I think we are all caught up here. The raffle has closed, so we're going to pick our winner. Looks like Kay Watson. We've got you as the winner, so if you could just tag me back, let me know you see that message. She actually called me while I was in the middle of a work call today. I was working from home and she called me while I was in the middle of the work call. I had to text her and tell her I would call her back later. And then I just realized when I saw that I didn't call her back later. I need to call her. Probably not tonight. Karen, I'll probably call you tomorrow. Waiting for Kay Watson to acknowledge that she's getting a postcard from me. There you are. Yay. Awesome. How many have I done? Let me go look at my history. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more. We're going to do one more, and then we're going to end the live stream after that. Last giveaway. Bye, Candy. We'll see you later. Okay, we'll refresh the Facebook group, see if anything else slipped in. Christine Hild, my first stack and whack. Awesome. And I think that's the last new one. This is one of my favorite things about the Friday Night Lives. I don't always get a chance to do this, but when I do, it makes me just really happy to see that you guys are making stuff alongside of me, because you're not just, well, if you're watching and that makes you encouraged and inspires you to do something later, that's fine too. But it's nice to know that you're actively sewing with me or working on something. So it's nice to see what you're doing. Yep. Okay. So let me get things set up to ramp down the live stream. Just give me a moment to get all that stuff going. She is not live yet, but will be soon. It looks like for Donna. It is. I agree, Sean. Sean said that it's so nice to see what everyone else is working on. It is. I am very happy that I'm able to do that during the live stream. We don't always get to it, but I love when we do. There we go. Looks like she just started her live, so we should be good. Okay, we're going to go ahead and stop the raffle and pull our winner. So I'll give you just a couple more seconds. All right. Here we go. Let's pick our last winner for the evening. Jay Kindland. Hey, Heather, I'll make a special one for you, my friend from across the pond. So, in addition to Jay Kindland, who please email me your physical mailing address and acknowledge that you see this, Heather, if you can mail me your physical mailing address, I would like to send one overseas. So, we're going to send one to you too. Let's just make sure that Jay Caitlin, that's not her post from someone with a quilt. There's not her post from someone with, I don't know what you mean by that, Jane. Aw, Karen says you were so nice about ending your show for others. Thank you. There's enough room for all of us. Truthfully, I don't mean this just like, I want to say thank you for that, but also I don't feel like I really deserve the thank you because I would probably end at 10 p.m. anyway. I really try to keep the live streams on Friday to 2 hours for a few reasons. Number one, I don't want to go on for 4 or 5 hours. It makes it like, who wants to watch a 5-hour replay of me sewing? I would do it, but yeah, I would do it, but yeah. The second thing is it keeps me excited about doing them. If I don't want to burn myself out. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I don't feel like I can be like, oh, thank you for the compliment, because selfishly, even if Donna wasn't going live at 10, I probably would still end at 10. But I am super happy that she is going live, and I am more than willing to always support any other content creator out there. And since she's going live at 10 p.m., I push all of you over there. So I'll take a thank you for that. All right, let's see. We got her. Joyce is here. Joyce is going to email me. Heather's going to email me, and I'll just go through really quickly the history. So Kay Watson, Joyce, Heather, Gail Merrifield, Jane Ranke, Paula Sturgis, Felicia Ross, and Katina01TX. All of you should be emailing me your physical mailing address to Becca@sewbecca.com. And this weekend I will get a lovely quilty postcard in the mail just for you. That's all I got for tonight, guys. Thank you, friends, for hanging out with me. Joni Duffy says, Becca, good to share time with you this evening. Have a good weekend. You too. Link to Donna's live will be coming in just a moment because YouTube is going to kick you and put you over there. So, if you don't want to wait for that to happen, this is the link. Just spammed it in the chat. We're going to end the stream, and YouTube will dump you out over there automatically. I'll see you guys all later. Bye!